She used to light up your phone with quick replies, her texts dripping with care, maybe even a few heart emojis. You could feel her energy, her interest, her warmth. But now it's like she's vanished into thin air. Cold responses, if you're lucky to get any at all. She's pulling away, and it's got you spinning, confused, angry, maybe even a little broken inside. You're wondering what you did wrong, why she's acting like you don't exist, especially when deep down, you know she still feels something. Here's the raw Stoic truth that most guys miss. A woman can ignore you and still be wildly in love with you. Sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? But stick with me, because on Wisdom Waves Aura, we're diving deep into why she's distancing herself and how you can respond like a man who owns his power, not one who's chasing shadows. This isn't just about her, it's about you becoming unbreakable. Let's start with the biggest mindbender. Her silence might mean she's feeling too much, not too little. When a woman falls hard, love isn't always soft and sweet. It can be chaos, a whirlwind of emotions that's exhilarating but also terrifying. She's not always equipped to handle that intensity. Imagine her mind racing. She's picturing a future with you, replaying your last conversation, wondering if she's falling too fast. That kind of vulnerability can feel like standing on the edge of a cliff. So, instead of leaning into you, she pulls back. Not because she's lost interest, but because she's scared of how much she cares. On Wisdom Waves Aura, we talk about mastering your own emotions first, and this is where Stoicism comes in. A Stoic doesn't react to the storm, he observes it. If she's overwhelmed, chasing her with double texts or desperate voicemails will only make her run faster. Give her space to breathe, and you're giving her the safety to process her feelings. That's not weakness, that's strategy. Now, let's talk about something most guys hate to hear. She might be testing you, not out of malice, but because she needs to know you're solid. Women don't always test consciously, but when she goes quiet, she's watching how you handle it. Will you lose your cool? Blow up her phone with "why aren't you answering?" or beg for her attention like a puppy? Or will you stay centered, calm, unshaken? A Stoic man doesn't need her validation to feel whole. He holds his frame, stays grounded, and keeps living his life. If you pass this test, she trusts you more not because you said something slick, but because you proved you're a rock when the ground starts shaking. On Wisdom Waves Aura, we're all about building that unshakable mindset, because a man who doesn't crumble under pressure is magnetic. Another reason she might be ghosting, she's afraid of losing control. Love makes you vulnerable, and for a woman who's been hurt before, that's a red flag. Maybe she's been burned by guys who promised the world and then bailed, or maybe she's just wired to protect her heart. When she starts catching real feelings, those old wounds whisper, "Don't get too close, you'll get hurt again." So, she pulls away, not to push you out, but to regain her footing. She's trying to prove to herself she doesn't need you, even if she wants you badly. If you chase her now, you're feeding that fear, making her feel like she's losing even more control. A Stoic man, though, he doesn't force closeness. He lets go, trusting his own value. If she's yours, she'll circle back. If not, you've dodged a bullet. That's the kind of wisdom we break down on WisdomWavesAura, how to stay powerful without playing games. Some women pull back because they're fiercely independent. Falling for you messes with that identity. Suddenly, she's craving your texts, your voice, your presence, and that feels like dependency. To her, dependency might as well be weakness. So, she ignores you, not to hurt you, but to remind herself she can stand alone. This isn't about you, it's her wrestling with her own sense of self. The worst thing you can do is try to force your way in, begging her to open up. That'll just make her double down. Instead, respect her independence. Keep building your own empire goals. Your grind, your growth. A man with purpose is irresistible, and that's what we preach. On Wisdom Waves, show her you're not shaken by her silence, and you'll create a balance that pulls her back naturally. Here's another angle. Sometimes her silence is a strategy. She's waiting to see what you'll do when she pulls away. Will you chase? Desperate to fill the void. Will you spam her with "you okay?" texts? Or will you keep moving forward, focused and unfazed? Women are drawn to men who don't crumble when the vibe shifts. If she senses her silence, makes you lose your edge, the attraction fades. But if she sees your world keeps spinning without her, she'll respect you more. Not out of guilt, but because you're proving you're a man with a mission. On Wisdom Waves Aura, we hammer this home. Your purpose is your power. A woman's silence doesn't define you, your discipline does. Let's not ignore the baggage she might be carrying. Every woman has a past pain, disappointment, broken trust. When she starts falling for you, those old scars can flare up. She might be ignoring you because she's scared you'll turn out like the rest. Her distance isn't always about you. It's her protecting herself from another heartbreak. In these moments, your reaction is everything. If you get clingy or emotional, you're confirming her fears. But if you stay calm, patient, and strong, you're showing her you're different. A Stoic man proves his worth through actions, not words. That's the kind of mindset we're building on WisdomWavesAura's strength that speaks louder than any love letter. One more reason she might be distant. She's trying to keep the upper hand. Modern dating can feel like a power struggle, and sometimes she pulls away to avoid feeling like she's falling too fast. If she's ignoring you, it might be her way of staying in control of the dynamic. But here's where most guys fumble. They chase, they reassure, they beg, and in doing so, they hand her all the power. A Stoic man doesn't play that game. He stays true to his value, knowing the right woman doesn't need to be chased. If she's playing power moves, let her focus on you, and let her come to you. That's the kind of confidence we're cultivating on WisdomWavesAura now. Let's be crystal clear. Ignoring you repeatedly, disrespectfully, or manipulatively isn't love. It's not Stoic to tolerate someone who's jerking you around. If she's consistently flaky or dismissive, her actions are speaking louder than her feelings. A Stoic man doesn't beg for respect. He walks away from those who don't offer it. So, here's what you never do. Don't double text. Don't stalk her socials. Don't lose sleep over her silence. Don't try to fix her feelings or prove your worth to someone who's checked out. You don't earn love by chasing someone who's running. On WisdomWavesAura, we're about leveling up, not settling down for less. So, what does a Stoic man do? He observes without fear. He detaches emotionally, not out of coldness, but out of clarity. If she pulls away, he doesn't panic. He keeps building himself. He protects his time, sharpens his focus, and stays on his grind. If she comes back, great. If not, he's still rising because his value doesn't hinge on her attention. That's the kind of man who becomes unforgettably a man who doesn't beg, doesn't break, and doesn't chase. On WisdomWavesAura, we're all about crafting that mindset, because a man who respects himself is the one she'll either return to or regret losing. Let's wrap this with the brutal truth. Sometimes a woman ignores you when she's deeply in love, not to hurt you, but because she's fighting her own demons. Her silence isn't always rejection. It's often her wrestling with vulnerability, fear, or independence. But your reaction, that's what separates the weak from the powerful. If you stay grounded, patient, and unmoved, she'll feel your strength. She'll see you as the man who doesn't crumble under pressure, who doesn't need her to feel whole. And that's the kind of man who leaves a mark whether she comes back or not. This is the kind of wisdom we drop regularly on Wisdom Waves. If you're ready to level up your mindset, master your emotions, and become the man women respect and chase, hit that subscribe button. We're diving into Stoicism, masculinity, and emotional power every week, because chasing love is played out. Be the man worth chasing. Join the WisdomWavesAura community now, and let's build something unstoppable together.